some people don't really think that Xbox has actually already obliterated PlayStation in what I think is the most important metric as a game publisher. As a platform holder, they also have done the same thing. I'll explain. For the most part, there were a lot of people who talked about cannibalization of sales and how Xbox's ecosystem seemed to be this Ouroboros, like a self-defeating mechanism. You make a game, you launch the game, and then you put the game on a subscription service day one. And so for many, they presumed that this cannibalization was a bad thing. What they didn't realize was the cannibalization is you competing against you. You lose, you win. You lose to you, you win against you. That's pretty much the reality of this whole thing. And so while they were, talking and while the conversation was ongoing, it was important for us to pretty much either say something that the so-called cannibalization you guys are talking about is not a cannibalization that something else is causing. It's Xbox itself that's causing the cannibalization. And I'm going to mirror what AMD did with this strategy. And I think it really did make them take over the CPU market when it comes to, say, gamers, when it comes to the general use case. Intel was dominating. I remember my last Intel build, and it was so interesting because this guy was selling a 7700K. Once upon a time, story time. Yeah. Sit down, let's chat, And so this guy was actually, selling this particular CPU, and I remember, man, he thought he was the boss, bro. He didn't want a 7700K anymore, so he went into I think it was a Best Buy, and he bought himself an 8700K, and he didn't want the 7700K. I didn't know that at some point he had bent the pin in his motherboard, but that was still an expensive CPU. And I pleaded with this guy almost to sell me that CPU for $200. I still have that CPU. I built a PC for one of my kids with it. So I'm happy that I've gotten my money's worth out of it after I, decommissioned that build. And I remember buying that motherboard and everything from him. And, budget committee, shout out to her, man. Amazing girl. She took one of our kids' magnifying glass toys and took a pin and straightened that pin for me on that LGA freaking motherboard. And I used that thing for content creation and all that. And the very next CPU I was going to buy, I wasn't going to do Intel because I saw AMD bringing Ryzen. And it was a statement, and I went full Ryzen. And man, I can tell you, the moment I got one Ryzen, AMD launched another Ryzen that was better than that Ryzen. Then they launched another Ryzen that was better than that Ryzen. Then they launched another Ryzen that was better than that Ryzen. And it did the same thing and over and over and over again. And that's the strategy that they continue to use. This user here, Kernel, says, wait until the Ryzen 9850 X3D. Hey! This company is throwing X3Ds everywhere. Remember, one of the first X3D was a 5800 X3D. That CPU was legendary because it came out and it really did showcase what AMD's technology could look like. And in this AM5 generation, it's bloody. Like it's insane. There's a 9950 X3D, I think. There's the 7800X3D. Then the 9800X3D came out. Now it's a 9850X. Oh, wow. And apparently, its performance is going to be marginally better than the 9800X3D. So you might ask yourself, who's this CPU for? Is it for you? If you have a 9800X3D, you probably don't need that CPU. Because it's going to be, again, marginally different. You won't even need to buy it. But guess who it's for? It's for AMD. And it's for Intel. It's for AMD to cannibalize their own 9800X3D, just as they did with the 7800X3D, by cannibalizing with the 9800X3D, and ensure that they continue to maintain the lead in that market and price point. That market segment, they own it, and it's not going anywhere. Xbox owns the content delivery segment, and they own the subscription value segment. It's not going anywhere, and they will continue to cannibalize it so that, for them, they win and they only lose to them. Do you understand what I mean? That's what they're doing to PlayStation. You see, some of you really think that because you have this one lead or this one metric, which is not the most important metric, unless you can convert those console sales to actually be deploying your software, you're going to be basically dealing with and depending on third-party publishers to bring software for you. But just because you sold a lot of data center CPUs and a lot of data center infrastructure doesn't mean crap. You can still lose your market position. Intel had to learn the hard way. Not saying PlayStation will lose their market position, but don't get too confident. I mean, AMD can screw it up too. Don't get too confident there either. I'm just being honest with you guys. But this particular pathway that Xbox is on is a very dangerous one for competitors. Because now, Xbox is now competing against Xbox. Oh, well, we brought out this hack and slash in September, and, we brought out another hack and slash, so which hack and slash is better? Oh, wait. We launched an RPG, in March, and we launched one to December prior to that, and then we launched another one in November of the following year. So when did you launch one? I don't know, but which one is better? I don't know. It's one of our RPGs that are better. That's what Xbox is doing. They are literally competing against themselves. You don't even know where to put a PlayStation game when it finally shows up. Oh, Ghost of Yote. Oh, the Yote. We've all forgotten about it. We're playing Marvel Cosmic Invasion. That's the new game on tap. That's the new game on deck. Right? We forgot. Because, again, gamer amnesia is another wonderful thing that you got to take a look at. Oh, Call of Duty. That right there is a very dangerous competitive paradigm because it literally can damage a competitor's business heavily. And that's what they're doing. It's a saturation. They'll saturate their market with their own products and they'll put it everywhere so that now they're the only ones that are basically running the narrative. When you look around, what do you see? Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass. Sure, the Game Awards are going to show up. It's going to be a game that was on Game Pass or another game that was actually on Game Pass. Are y'all seeing what's going on? If it's not Silksong, it's going to be Expedition 33. Or maybe some other random game, but they're going to be there, and then they're going to talk about how it was on Xbox and how it was on Game Pass, and then if they don't talk about it, they're going to talk about the Xbox game that's going to be coming out next year. Oh, what is this? Is it Fable? Oh my gosh, is it freaking Forza 6? You will not hear much about the competitors anymore. Guys, I'm trying to tell you that we have now reached a weird place in gaming that I did not want us to get to. But all of that madness that was basically the drug of the so-called media, anti-Xbox media, pro-PlayStation punditry, is about to get silenced so hard. You're about to see a lot of egg on face and crow eating going on. That's what you're going to see. Let them go ahead and talk about how many consoles are sold. Even with those consoles sold, Xbox will still be competing with Xbox on PlayStation as it's the biggest publisher on PlayStation. It's literally what's going on right now with AMD in the CPU market. No one is touching them at this moment in time. Because Intel could bring out one CPU. Oh, here's a CPU. Everyone's like, oh, but AMD. Everyone's like, whoa. But AMD. And I think AMD missed out on that approach when it came to the gaming segment. They missed out on it. They were doing very well, but they missed out a very critical position on the gaming segment with the GPUs. With the CPUs, they nailed it down. The GPUs, they had an opportunity. They had multiple ample opportunities. They botched it. 9070, I mean, look at the price now. The thing is around $500. They're finally giving the freaking rebates to the, manufacturers. That was the gift handed to them. 4080 performance at about $600, it was the gift that God literally gave AMD, but because of their own greed, I'm sure. They botched it. They could have done it right there and cannibalized themselves with a 9070, then a 9060, then a 9080, then a 9070 XT special, and blah, 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 and just literally saturate that market with different SKUs. And everybody will be looking at, so which 90 series should I buy? But they did not deliver properly.